Baik, Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi. Bagi yang beragama Islam, kita mulakan dengan surah Al-Fatihah. Kita sambung topik kita yang seterusnya, iaitu Economic Order Quantity, yang mana topik ini dalam slide ini tak banyak lah, sebab kita dah cover dalam beberapa topik yang sebelum ni berkaitan dengan teknik-teknik dalam pengawalan inventory. Baik, kita tengok review semula lah bagi pendapat saya kan. Sebab kebanyakan kita telah faham pendekatan yang digunakan di dalam Economic Order Quantity. Baik, today we're going to discuss about the next topic on the Economic Order Quantity. And for this, for today's topic, it will not take long time because we have only number of slides regarding to the Economic Order Quantity, and I believe that most of us have very clear about the Economic Order Quantity technique and approach, which is used to control the inventory policy in organization. So, under the inventory management control especially, there are numbers of questions in order to achieve effectiveness of managing the inventory. One of the question is about the how much the order quantity should be and when should the order be placed. And we need also to determine how much the safety stock should be maintained in order to mitigate the uncertainty that create from the demand from customer, and also from the uncertainty in lead time. But the topic for the safety stock will be discussed in the other chapter of inventory management under the probabilistic of approach or technique in the inventory management. So, of course, Economic Order Quantity is to find the optimal order quantity that will minimize overall total inventory cost. So, under the Economic Order Quantity, there are basic assumptions for Economic Order Quantity model. One of the assumption of basic EOQ is demand is known with certainty and constant over time. So we know that the demand from customer is very clear, and we know the quantity ordered by the actual order from the customer. And this demand and that quantity is maintained at the same amount over time. And the next basic assumption is under the Economic Order Quantity model, there are no shortages allowed. And lead time also for the receipt of order is constant and known. And under basic economic order quantity also, the quantity orders is assumed received simultaneously, or we can say that the inventory we order is received all at once. So there will be no partial release of inventory from our supplier. Under the inventory management, the main cost that associate to the effectiveness of inventory management include the carrying cost, which is a cost of holding an item in inventory. And also we have ordering cost, cost of replenishment inventory, and shortage cost, a cost that temporarily or permanent loss of sale when we cannot fulfill the customer demand. So if we can look more detail under the carrying cost, there are numbers of components under the carrying cost, which include tax, tax, tax cost, handling cost, storage, renting cost, and many others that relate to the storing the inventory. And under the ordering cost, among the components that might be included under the ordering cost is transportation cost, administration cost, expediting the ordering cost, the ordering to the supplier, and many more. And so this is the inventory cycle. So this is the inventory order cycle. That we have the order quantity Q here, show the maximum level of inventory. And while R here represent the reorder point level. So when we keep monitoring the inventory level, and inventory level reach at the reorder point level here, it signal to the personnel that in charge to the inventory control to proceed with the replenishment order to replace the inventory that used to support the customer demand. So, of course, when determine how much to be ordered, it must also include the lead time. The lead time in the inventory policy here. So when the inventory reach at the zero quantity here, we assume that the order that we place at the R point, we receive all at once, and automatically the level of inventory we increase back to the maximum level of inventory. And this cycle repeat over the time. So this is the formula for the EOQ model cost. We have the annual ordering cost, whereby ordering cost multiply with demand, annual demand, and divide by optimum order quantity. Or we can also divide the annual demand by optimum order quantity, and after that we multiply with the ordering cost. And we also have annual carrying cost, where we need to we need to have the average inventory, where the optimum order quantity divide by 2, so we get the average inventory, and multiply with the carrying cost, so we have the annual carrying cost. So the total cost under economic order quantity normally include the variable cost that consists of annual ordering cost and annual carrying cost. As we discussed before, the objective of economic order quantity is to find the equilibrium of carrying cost and ordering cost. So this figure shows that the cross line between the carrying cost and ordering cost need to be achieved in order to find the optimal order quantity. So this optimal order quantity also we balance between the carrying cost and ordering cost. As we know, the ordering cost have a negative relationship with the order quantity, and meanwhile for the carrying cost have a positive relationship with the order quantity. The increase of order quantity will decrease. The increase in order quantity will also increase the carrying cost. But the increase in order quantity will decrease the ordering cost. Okay. So we have an example of economic order quantity model here. For example, the carrying cost is 75 cents and the ordering cost is 150 and the annual demand is 10 yard. So what is the optimum order quantity? We replace all the information or data regarding to the cost and the demand from the customer into the optimal order quantity formula. So we have 2,000 yard as a optimum order quantity. So what is the total cost? Total cost here we have for the ordering cost. For the ordering cost, we have annual demand 10,000 divided by optimum order quantity 2,000. So we have 5 times of orders per year. So 5 times multiply with the 150 ringgit of ordering cost, and for the carrying cost, the average inventory is 2,000, the optimal order quantity, divide by 2, so we have 1,000 unit of average inventory, multiply with 75 cents of carrying cost. So the total cost will be 750 for the ordering cost and 750 for carrying cost. And total variable cost for this problem is 1,500. So of course, the order cycle is 10,000 divided by 2,000. We have 5 orders per year. And the order cycle, we assume that the annual working days is 311 days. Divide by 5 the numbers of order. So we have 62.2 days. So each of the order cycle length with 72.2 store days. So where is the order cycle? As shown in this figure, so each of these represent the order cycle. So if we take the example that we do the economic, we apply the economic order quantity. So 62.2 days will represent for each of these cycle. For each of these cycle. So 62.2 days we end after we end at the when the inventory level is reached at the zero. When the inventory level reach at the zero. So it's the ending of the each of the cycle of 62.2 days. Okay, for the reorder point level, to find when to place the replenishment order, we need to know data about the average demand. Sorry, yes, demand per day or demand per week or demand per month, and also we need to have the lead time. We need to know what is the length of the lead time. Let's say here the demand is 10,000 yards per year and the store is open 311 days per year, and daily demand based on this uh, uh, annual demand and numbers of working days, we have 32.154 yard per day. So this is the daily demand, and lead time is 10 days. So the reorder point level would be 32.154 multiplied with 10 days. So we have 321.54. Whenever the inventory reach at the level of 321.54 yard, it signal to us to place the replenishment order to increase the inventory back to the maximum level. Okay, very short about the economic order quantity. Is there any question? And I believe there will be no question regarding to economic order quantity. We also have discussed about the quantity discount model in the previous chapter, and of course the quantity discount model is variation standard model of economic order quantity. So have you any question? Okay, thank you. can we discuss next chapter on inventory management about the probabilistic model? Because we have much time. Slide is okay. Next topic or chapter in the inventory management, probabilistic model for inventory control. Previously, we have discussed about the basic assumption in the inventory management, okay, with the example of economic order quantity. And we continue with the next chapter on the probabilistic model for inventory control, where we remove some of the basic assumption in the economic order quantity to represent more realistic of inventory control. So this certainty in the basic economic order quantity and allows the we remove the basic assumption in the economic order quantity and allow the probabilities to the variable. So in practice, almost every inventory system contains uncertainty. Of course, this uncertainty may include from the demand, cost and price, lead time, and also from the supply quantity. So under the probabilistic model of inventory control, terms like safety stock, stock out, and service level has been used to uh, to solve the problem regarding to the uncertainty that exists in the inventory management practices. So, for example, here we have a demand an item for the past 6 months, 20 unit, 80 unit, 240 unit, 120 unit, 100 unit, and 40 unit respectively for each of the month. And we assume that the reorder cost is 50 ringgit and the ordering cost 50 ringgit of ordering cost and the holding cost is 1 ringgit unit per month, and there will be no shortage allowed and the lead time is constant at 1 month. And we need to describe what is the ordering policy for this item based on the average value. So the question is how satisfactorily, based on this data, that we need to develop the inventory policy. So we take out the important data to be analyzed based on economic order quantity. We have a demand 100 unit per month, ordering cost 50 ringgit per order, and holding cost is 1 ringgit. Sorry. First point. So we have a lead time is 1 month. The optimum order quantity will be 100 unit based on the given data. 2 multiply with the 50 ordering cost and multiply with the 100 average value of demand and divide by 1 ringgit of per unit per month. And the square root of this total will be 100 unit as an optimum order quantity, and the time between order or the cycle time, the numbers of the time between orders, the cycle time for each of the order is 1 month, and the reorder point level is lead time multiplied with demand 1 month multiplied with 100 unit of optimal order quantity. So the reorder point level will be 100 unit. So the policy of inventory management for this data is to order 100 unit whenever the inventory level decline to the or reach at the 100 unit. So on average, this happen only once for the month. So if we analyze based on this table that we develop based on the data, let's say the opening stock is 0 because so the opening stock is 0 and mean that we need to replenish 100 unit. So we make an order, replenishment order of 100 unit, and the demand, the actual demand for the first month is 20 unit. So at the end of the month, there will be a balance of inventory of 80 unit, and this closing stock will brought to the next month, the second month. So the opening stock will be 80 unit. Because of the opening stock is below the level of reorder point level 100 unit, we need to create a replenishment order of 100 unit. So, but the demand for the second month only at 80 unit. So the total inventory that we'll have in the storeroom will be 180, and we only use 80 unit to fulfill the customer demand, and we have a balance of 100 unit at the end of the second month. So this 100 unit we brought to the third month. So the opening stock at the third month is 100 unit, and 100 unit signal to personnel to replenish inventory of 100 unit. So the demand for the third month is 240, and in this third cycle here show that shortage has been occurred because the demand is high at 240, but we only have the inventory on hand 200 unit. So shortage at not a shortage at 60 unit, not the 40 unit, is 60 unit. 60 unit, right? 200, oh sorry, 40 unit. We shortage of 40 unit. So the opening stock for the next month is 0 because we have a shortage from the previous month. and we need to replenish with the optimum order quantity of 100 unit. So we have on hand inventory of 100 unit, and the actual demand is 120 unit. So that's again we have a shortage of 20 unit on the fourth month, and at the opening stock on the fifth month is 0 unit. So we replenish 100 unit of optimum order quantity, and the actual demand, let's say the actual demand is 100. So the closing stock is 0, and the next demand, the next month, the opening stock is 0, and the replenishment, we need to do the replenishment of 100 unit, and the demand, the actual demand is 40, and we have excessive of inventory of 60 unit. So based on this, based on the data that we have, and according to the, and we use that data to develop the inventory policy to be applied in managing the inventory. And the data, the analysis of the data show that there are where the inventory excessive has been occur in our inventory control, and also shortage of 40 unit and 20 unit, and only on the fifth month that we have an ideal inventory, that the inventory on hand match with the demand from the customer. So this shortage and excessive of inventory, of course, we give high impact to the organization in terms of increase of cost, and also decrease in the customer service level. So we conclude that in managing inventory, in practice, we need to include the uncertainty characteristic of variable to ensure the inventory management control will be more efficient and effective to achieve the organization goals or the department's goal. So one of the there are numbers of model. There are numbers of model that discuss about the uncertainty that exists in the inventory management practice. So for the first model here, we have a marginal analysis, where the marginal analysis is designed for the short-term analysis, and is very useful for the item that have a strong seasonal demand. So more applicable, this model is more applicable for the item that have a strong seasonal demand. And marginal analysis is based on the expected profit and cost of each unit. So we need to expect what is the profit, to expect what is the loss on the unit. There are general rules that apply for this marginal analysis, where the probability demand must be bigger or equal than Q. Probability demand is bigger and equal than Q. And this probability also must be bigger and equal to the function of unit cost divided by scrap value of salvage value and divide by selling price, deduct by scrap value or salvage value. So for example here, we have an example a problem here. A shop is about to order some industrial heater for a forecast spell of cold weather. The shop pays 1,000 for each heater, and during the cold spell, they sell for 2,000 each, and the demand for the heater will decline markedly after a cold spell, and any unsold unit also at 500. And previous experience suggests the likely demand for heater is as follow. So, kalau kita tengok di sini dalam contoh yang diberi untuk marginal analysis model, antara contoh yang kita katakan permintaan terhadap item yang mempunyai strong seasonal demand iaitu heater yang digunakan pada musim sejuk. Kan kita ni tak ada musim sejuk, tak ada salji kan. Heater yang digunakan pada musim sejuk. Dan daripada data-data yang lepas, jadi dia buat keberangkalian, kan? Dia bangunkan keberangkalian permintaan daripada customer. For example, we have a demand of 1 unit. The probability of customer to buy only 1 unit during the cool spell is called 0.2. And for the demand of 2 unit of heater, the probability is 0.3, and 3 unit is 0 also is 0.3, and for the 4 unit, the probability only assigned at 0.1, and also for the 5 unit, the probability assigned at 0.1. So the question is, how many heater should the shop buy to increase the profit? So, we listing all the variable from the example, the problem example that we have. The unit cost is 1,000, and the selling price of the heater is 2,000 ringgit per unit, and the scrap value is 500, or the salvage value of 500 ringgit per unit. If we apply the general rule of marginal analysis, we have that probability of 0.33, where 1,000 the unit cost divided by scrap value of 500 divide by selling price divided by divide by the total of 2,000 divided by 500, the scrap value of heater. So we have the probability of 0.33. So after we have the probability, the general rule of marginal analysis at 0.33, we need to analyze at each of the order quantity. They say if Q, the order quantity is 1, so the probability of demand is bigger and equal of 1 may be equal to 1. So this value Q equal to the probability of Q equal to 1 is greater than 0.33. So the inequality based on the general rule is invalid. So we increase the Q. When the Q equal to 2, the probability of demand that more than 2, the demand is more and equal to 2, will be equal to 0.8. The probability will be 0.8. And this also greater than 0.33. So the inequality is valid, and we increase the value of Q to Q equal to 3. At the Q equal to 3, the probability will be 0.5, and this also is greater than 0.33, and the inequality is valid, and we increase the Q to Q equal to 4. At the Q equal to 4, where the Q equal to 4 is the probability is 0.2, and 0.2 is less than 0.33, so the inequality is no longer valid. So we choose the highest quantity order at the Q equal to 3, where the inequality is valid, as the optimal solution. So how do we get this probability with 1, 0.8, 0.5, 0.2? We need to start with the lowest order quantity. So the lowest order quantity in this case is 1. So we have here the lowest order quantity in this case is 1. So order demand here is 1 unit as the lowest. So let's say we only order the quantity from the supplier at 1 unit. So 1 unit is the lowest order quantity. So the lowest order quantity, the probability will be equal to the 1.0. Will be equal to 1.0. Because in whatever condition, the order quantity will be at least 1 unit for that season. Will be 1 unit at that season. So that's why we choose the lowest order quantity. Let's say if the lowest order quantity is 2 unit. Let's say the lowest order quantity here we have 2 unit. Kalau kita tukar kat sini kan, the lowest demand here is 2 unit. Okay, let's say we change the data about the demand. The lowest demand will be 2 unit. In the analysis or the quantity order, also will be the lowest quantity order start with the 2 unit. We start at 2 unit. And this quantity order of 2 unit, the lowest order quantity, the probability will be equal to 1.0. Because because kalau kita tengok di sini kan, in whatever condition, the shop will be buy at least 2 unit from the supplier. At least 2 unit from the supplier. That's why the probability of quantity order at 2 unit will be equal 1.0, because the demand or the order quantity is the lowest unit. So let's say the shop buy 3 unit from the supplier. So if he or she buy 3 unit from the supplier, of course the shop already buy at least 2 unit. At least 2 unit we include in the quantity order of 3 unit. So the 2 unit here the probability in the marginal analysis general rule will be 1.2. So we back here, we have 1, and also we have here 1. Okay, so the lowest order quantity will be, the probability will be 1.0, and the second lowest of order quantity will be 0.8. How do we get 0.8? Let's say the order quantity of 2 unit here. So the probability of 0.2 that assigned to the demand of 1 unit will be excluded from the analysis. Will be excluded from the analysis, that we only consider the probability of 2 unit and more. 2 unit and more. That is 0.3 plus 0.3 plus 0.1 and plus 0.1. So the probability of this quantity order of 2 unit demand at the demand is more and equal to 2 unit is 0.8. And if the Q increase to the 3, the probability of demand will be 0.5, because we exclude the probability of 0.1 and 0.2 with the 0. We exclude the probability of demand for 1 and 2 with the probability of 0.2 and 0.3. So we only include the probability of demand 3 and more, where the 0.3 plus 0.1 and 0.1. So we have here for the Q equal to 1, the probability will be 0.5. So this is how we get the probability for each of the quantity order. And we stop to analyze the equation, the equality. We stop to analyze the inequality when the probability of demand is less than general rule of marginal analysis. Is less than general rule of marginal analysis. At the quantity order of 4, it shows that 0.2 is less than 0.33. So we stop analyzing the probability that we have at the quantity unit order of 4. So we choose the highest value of inequality. We choose the highest value of inequality at Q equal to 3 as the optimal solution. So this is for the marginal analysis that have a strong seasonal demand, and we apply the general rule in the marginal analysis to assist our analysis on the what should be the order quantity to increase the profit in managing the inventory. So the next model under the uncertainty model of inventory control is newsboy problem. Newsboy problem. We assume that newsboy problem or newsboy model is very useful also for this with the item that have a seasonal goods and doesn't have a second-hand value. Doesn't have second-hand value. So originally the newsboy has to decide how many paper to buy from his supplier when customer demand is uncertain, and if he buy too many paper, he is left with unsold stock which has no value at the end of the day. If he buys too few paper, he has unsatisfied demand which could have given higher a profit. So under the newsboy problem, we need to choose what is the right order quantity to avoid the shortage and also to achieve the higher profit. The newsboy problem, also known as the single period model. Lain daripada nama newsboy model, ianya juga dikenali sebagai single period model. Saya skip lah dia punya step ni kan. Saya skip dia punya step ni. Kita lihat terus kepada penyelesaian dia kan. Tapi jam pun dah 9.41. Sempat tak? Okay, saya rasa kita berhenti sampai di sinilah kan. We stop our online class today, finishing at the marginal analysis model, and we will continue our discussion on the newsboy problem on next coming class, this coming Thursday. So because there are numbers of slides to be discussed under the model of newsboy problem, so I don't want the discussion hanging at the some of the step in the newsboy problem. So I stop at this slide and we continue our discussion newsboy problem next class. Before we stop, do you have any question regarding to our class today? Yeah. Okay, individual assignment. Ya, kamu nak tanya apa? Soalan D. Soalan D yang mana satu ah? Saya pun tak ingat. Okay. Okay, yang tu. Soalan tu memerlukan kamu berfikir pada aras yang tinggi lah. Tidak ada jalan kira. Berdasarkan pemahaman kamu, mungkin kamu boleh apply pemahaman kamu berkaitan dengan supply chain management. Mungkin kamu juga boleh apply pemahaman kamu berkaitan dengan supplier management. Boleh juga kamu apply berkaitan dengan collaborative program yang ada di dalam pengurusan inventory. Walaupun kamu tak belajar secara detail, tapi saya percaya ada overview tentang collaborative program berkaitan dengan inventory management yang telah kamu pelajari masa production operation management dahulu. Ya. Kamu tengok, ya? Okay. That will be based on your opinion. There will be numbers of correct answer, but still will be based on your recommendation and your opinion, your argument. Kamu kena bagi jawapan dan hujah kenapa kamu bersetuju dengan keputusan yang kamu buat. Okey. 19 kan? Saya dah ubah kan? 19 kan? Okey.
doktor bagi yang B tu kan?
Yang mana?
Bagi yang B tadi, yang hujah sendiri tu. Contoh dia macam yang just in time semua tu ke? Pasal masa? Pasal masa dalam...
Yang B tu soalan bos sekali lagi.
B tu soalan dia, can you suggest a system of allocating control time?
Okay. Yang tu kamu kena banyak membaca berkaitan dengan ABC analysis. Tak cukup dengan slide. Terputus.
Oh, maksudnya sekejap. Sebab
kena banyak membaca. Sebab macam ni. Kita faham kan di dalam ABC analysis, dalam ABC analysis kita kelaskan item kita kepada kategori tertentu kan, berdasarkan value dan juga berdasarkan usage kan. Dan kita juga discuss, kita kata untuk kelas A item yang mempunyai value yang tinggi, kita perlu buat pengawalan yang ketat kan. We need to have tight control for the class A item compared to the B item and C item. In order to ensure that we have a tight control of inventory for the class A item, what kind of approach, model or technique that should we apply for the class A item?
Oh, faham.
Faham kan? Jadi sebab tu saya kata kamu kena self learning sikit kan, macam kerja rumah lah untuk kamu kan, baca sikit tentang ABC analysis. Sebab mana-mana pengalaman saya lah kan, mana-mana organisasi yang mempunyai satu klasifikasi inventory yang baik, dia akan memudahkan dalam pengurusan inventory dia. Sebab daripada pengkelasan inventory tersebut, dia boleh kenal pasti apakah approach ataupun teknik yang sesuai yang boleh dia apply supaya pengawalan inventory dalam kumpulan inventory tersebut dapat dilaksanakan lebih efektif. Jadi ABC analysis ni dia bukan hanya sekadar untuk kita kelaskan item kepada kumpulan tertentu saja, tetapi untuk kita kenal pasti apakah pendekatan yang paling sesuai untuk kelas A item, untuk kelas B item, untuk kelas C item. Sebab tu saya kata kamu kena banyak baca sedikit berkaitan dengan apakah approach yang sesuai kita gunakan untuk pengurusan inventory bagi setiap kelas tersebut. Sama ada kelas A, kelas B dan juga kelas C. Dan setengah organisasi dia bukan hanya ada 3 kelas ni saja, dia tambah lagi kelas. Mungkin ada 4 kelas, 4 kumpulan ataupun 5 kumpulan. It depend on the organization policy on the inventory management. Kan? Setiap organisasi dia ada reason dia lah. Kan? Walau bagaimanapun, dia punya asas dia perlu adanya pengkelasan inventory kan, supaya memudahkan kita untuk membuat pengawalan dan pengurusan terhadap inventory tersebut. Okey, saya harap jawapan saya tu membantu lah. Macam mana kamu nak jawab? Hantar je lah. Confident. Kena ada confident kan. Kalau saya nak check semua, kalau saya check semua, baik saya orang tahu saya bagi markah terus kan, check kan. Hantar je, bagi confident dengan jawapan kamu kan. Baca je.
Doktor.
Ya.
Nak tanya yang macam soalan A tu, selepas buat
kena buat ABC analysis dahulu. Baru kamu boleh jawab semua soalan tersebut.
Ada doktor, macam ni lepas saya kira dah buat ABC analysis tu, untuk soalan A tu perlu buat penerangan tak dalam bentuk ayat pula?
Soalan A tu soalan apa? Saya lupa lah.
What would you recommend Taylor to do to cut back its labor cost?
Okay.
Illustrate using an ABC plan.
Okay, saya bagi hint lah kan. Untuk soalan 1 tu, ianya berkaitan dengan cycle counting. Ianya berkaitan dengan cycle counting. Untuk soalan 1 tu, bila kamu dah buat ABC analysis, antara pendekatan yang terbaik untuk jawab soalan 1 tu, ianya berkaitan dengan cycle counting. Kalau kita baca statement kan, inventory kat tailor industry tu banyak kan. Jadi dia mengalami peningkatan kos buruh untuk manage inventory yang banyak. Sebab banyak aktiviti-aktiviti yang perlu dilaksanakan dalam pengurusan inventory. Jadi macam mana dia nak kurangkan jumlah pekerja yang banyak tersebut disambil memastikan pengurusan inventory berjalan dengan lancar. Kan? Cuba tengok cycle counting. Mungkin itu boleh membantu untuk mengurangkan kos buruh dalam tailor industry berkaitan dengan pengurusan inventory. Okey.
Terima kasih, Doktor.
Baik. Ada lagi soalan?
Terima kasih, Doktor.
Baik, sama-sama. Baik, kalau tidak ada apa-apa soalan bagi yang bangun Islam, kita sudahi dengan surah.
Saya tak scan lagi, Doktor.
Tak scan lagi. Okey, saya buka, saya tinggalkan untuk kamu lah. Baik.